Welcome to AfriLink Network Consult. Today our topic is Spanning Tree Protocol, STP. So now you can explain bridge ID. You know what BPDUs are. You know root bridge. And you know non-root bridge. What about port cost? Port cost is a value which is given to interfaces as per their bandwidth. Okay, it's just a value. Port cost is a value which is given to interfaces as per their bandwidth. And the port cost is inversely proportional to the bandwidth. So the higher the bandwidth, the lower the port cost. The lower the bandwidth, the higher the port cost. The lower the port cost. It's inversely proportional. So fast Ethernet interfaces. What is the bandwidth for fast Ethernet interfaces? 100 megabits per second. And the value which is given to it is 19. That is the port cost for fast Ethernet interfaces. It's fixed. There's no mathematical formula for that. Gigabit interfaces are also 1000 megabits per second. You see the bandwidth here is higher than this. So they have given it a value of 4. You see, it's inversely proportional. That is a port cost. So if a port cost is lower, it's better. Remember, I told you for switching, everything lower is better. Okay? Lower is better. Now, a second election is conducted. The first election is the one that chose the root bridge. Now the second elections, these two non-root bridges are going to conduct root port election, each one of them. So this is the second election. And root port election is meant for only non-root bridges. The root bridge is not going to conduct that election. Okay? It's only the non-root bridges. That election is meant for just the non-root bridges. Root port. Remember, this switch has all these ports here. They are not taking part in STP. Those that are taking part in STP are just this and that. Okay? Yes, the connections to other switches. And for switch C, just this port and that port. Forget about the other ports here. These two ports that you are seeing here, all of them can lead you to the root bridge, isn't it? Supposing you have a PC here, and that PC wants to communicate with the root bridge. It can either go through this port here to the root bridge, or through this port here to the root bridge. These two ports here are going to compete. One of them has to be elected as the root bridge. One of them has to be elected as the root bridge. So root A will do its own root port election. These two ports are the contestants. Switch C will also do its own root port election. Just these two ports are the contestants. And what is the root port? Or who will be the winner? The winner should have the lowest link cost. Lowest link or port cost.
Port cost is a
Sure. Let me write port here. Lowest port cost to the root bridge. So supposing these two ports are all fast Ethernet interfaces, fast Ethernet, okay? All of them will have port cost of 19 each, isn't it? So 19 here and 19 here. All right? So to go through this port here will cost you only 19. But to go through this port here will cost you 19 here, another 19 here, another 19 here. Cumulative. It will be expensive. Okay? Because each port that the packet enters will incur a cost. So the cumulative port cost, if the packet should go through here, will be more. So which one will be chosen? Which one will win the election? The first one. Because that's what has the lowest link cost, port cost to the root bridge. So these two ports you are seeing here, this one has one. That is a root bridge. Root port, sorry. This port here will now be a designated port. It is not a root port. It is a designated port. Switch C also does its own election, root port election. And if these ports here are all fast Ethernet ports, these two ports you are seeing here, if all of them are fast Ethernet ports, then obviously the port you are seeing here will become the winner. So this will be the root port. And this port here will become the designated port. But the story will be different if this port here is a gigabit port with a port cost of 4. It will be different. A different port will be chosen as the root port. So now you know what the root port is. So if I ask you to explain everything you are seeing here in your own words, can you do that? From number 1 to number 6. We have even treated number 7. So can you try out something?
Yeah.
Okay. Bridge ID, start from here.
So the bridge ID basically is a combination of the priority, which is the switch number or the switch ID. And then basically by default every Cisco switch comes with a default ID of 32768.
Beautiful.
And then plus the VLAN, which is on every switch. And then every switch has a default VLAN 1. And then the MAC address.
Good.
So that gives you the bridge ID.
You've done well. It's a good attempt. Let's move on. So now a port has to be blocked. STP has a decision to make. One of these designated ports must be blocked. A root port cannot be blocked. Okay? One of these ports here must be blocked. Now the switch, STP will look at the switch with the lowest MAC address. Supposing this switch A has the lowest MAC address, its port will not be blocked. For switching lower is better. The switch with the higher MAC address, its port will be put in a blocking state. So now STP has achieved its aim. So you see how STP blocks a port? Yes. And this happens automatically. SDP by default is on every switch. It happens automatically. Do you have any question? To understand everything. So, SDP has put this port in a blocking state. So if a PC connected to switch A here wants to communicate with another PC here, even though this link looks shorter, but because this port is in a blocking state, the packet cannot go through this port. It will go all this long way here to communicate with a PC connected to switch C. When a problem happens on the primary link, SDP will sense it and has to release this port from the blocking state to what? Listening,
first. Then it goes to
learning, and now forwarding. In total, how many seconds will it take?
50 seconds.
50 seconds. So this standard of SDP is called the 802.1D. Let's use Packet Tracer to demonstrate how SDP works. Packet Tracer is very good for CCNA training. So that's what we use. I'm going to drop 3 switches. And connect them using crossover cables. I have a full redundancy here. Okay? So just look at the ports here. SDP is working now. Elections are going on. A root bridge will be elected. The non-root bridges will also go through the process of electing a root port. A port will be blocked very soon. Just watch. Take your time and watch. A port will be blocked soon. It happens automatically. SDP operation is ended. The port here is blocked. You see red here. All the colors here are green. SDP has blocked this port on a switch. Let's check. Let me open this switch. Expand it. Enable, and the command is show spanning tree for VLAN 1, because that's the default VLAN on the switch currently. We haven't configured any VLAN on the switch. Enter, and what do we see? A lot of information. Let me explain everything here. This switch is saying spanning tree is enabled for VLAN. What do you see here? 1. VLAN 1. This switch is also telling you every information about the root bridge. It says the root ID. So every information you are seeing here is information about the root bridge. How did they switch get to know? BPDU. So all these informations were contained in the BPDU from the root bridge. The root bridge says my priority is 32768. You see, it has to be 768, but you are seeing 769. Why? VLAN 1. It added 1 to it. That's why you're seeing 1 here. The root bridge has a MAC address of what? That's what you're seeing here. And it's connected to a port which has a cost of 4. And that port is gigabit 0/1. The hello timer, the BPDUs are sent every 2 seconds. That's the hello timer, the MACsH timer, and the forward delay. All these informations are captured in the BPDU. But the information you are seeing here is about the switch, its own information. So if this switch has to send a BPDU, this is what it will send. Okay? So every switch will capture the information about their root bridge and capture their own information. And if you come down here, these are the ports which are playing parts or playing role in STP. It says gigabit 0/1 is what? The root. Gigabit 0/1, that is the root bridge. And it's forwarding. It's forwarding packets. And the port cost is 4. Is that true? This is the root bridge. This is the root port. Obviously, I've not even opened this switch here, but I can tell that is the root bridge. I can tell that is the root bridge. We'll check it very soon. But port 2 is in a blocking state. That's what you're seeing. Gigabit 2. It's blocked. You see BLK. It's blocked. Okay? So, let me connect 2 pieces. One to switch A, this switch here, and one to switch C. I'll just put them on a continuous pin. Then we'll see where the packet will go through. Okay? So, let me connect. Two pieces, one here and one here. Currently, we don't have any VLANs on the switch, so I can connect the cables anywhere. We have to assign IP addresses to the switches. This is one broadcast domain. Okay, one broadcast domain, so I can choose any subnet. Let's say a subnet of 192.168.1.0/24. That is a subnet. So if I should assign IP addresses to the PC, I'm choosing it from this subnet. (192.168). Should I choose 1.1? All right, that's the first IP. So 1.1, and no default gateway. We don't need any default gateway. So over here, I'll assign the second IP address to this PC. 192.168.1.2/24. Let me ping from here. So ping continuously. 192.168.1.2, and we are receiving reply. Where do you think the packet is going through? Here. Because this port is blocked. If you want to confirm, Packet Tracer has a very beautiful feature. Let's click on simulation here. Okay? Then, what else do we do? We pick a packet from this packet, place it here, place one here, and click on play. See where the packet is going through. Okay. Let me just filter, do some edit filters. Let me edit some filters here. We don't want app, we don't want DNS, we only want ICMP. Over here, we don't want VTP. Let's even cancel the DPDUs. We don't want DTP. We only want ICMP. So let's see where the packet is going through. Come on, that's the packet. Then it will go through here. You see, it knows that this port is blocked. That's the primary link. Now I'm coming to terminate the primary link. STP automatically will release this port. It will go through that process of listening, learning, and forwarding. So let me click back on real time. The continuous ping is still on. So I'm going to terminate this primary link here. Okay, so we quickly log on to this switch here and show STP. It says what? The port is still in a blocking state, correct? It's still blocked. Show STP. Now what do we see? It's listening. Port 2 is now in the listening state. Correct?
Yeah.
I'm just showing the same command. Show spanning tree, VLAN 4, VLAN 1. Now it's what? Learning. So you see the ping is still timing out. Learning. Now it's forwarding. So if you check the ping is up now. You see STP works automatically. Is that not beautiful?
It's nice.
It's beautiful. So if you come to simulation again, let's connect this way. And now our packet, you see that our packet will take this course, it will divert its course to this link, which was initially blocked. Click on play. Go. So then in summary, STP will detect whether there is redundancy or there is an alternate path that may cause switching loop in the network. If it realizes that, it will put it in a blocking state. All of you, come on, use the primary link. Once there's a problem on the primary link, what does it do?
It switches to the inactive one. No,
That's it. It releases the inactive
port.
link or port to be used. And that will take 50 seconds. Yes, that is STP operation. Let's restore the link. Let's restore it.
So when they say a link is down, this is basically a scenario.
Not really. A link is down. You see, network, where you work, Vodafone, the network is big. It's not this simple. So if a link is down, it can be any link. Okay? It can be this one too. It can be, yes. Link down can mean a lot of things. So we have restored it, and this port has come back to the blocking state automatically. And communication is still ongoing. Yes. That is STP. So for VLAN 1, this switch here is the root. Let's check whether this switch is the root bridge. Let's expand. What's the command? Show spanning tree for VLAN 1. Why do we choose VLAN 1? Beautiful. Yes. Watch the information here. It says every information you are seeing here is the information I'm going to give you on VLAN 1. My root bridge has all this information. But by the way, this is the root bridge. This is the root bridge. So you see it listed here. It's written here in bold. This is the root bridge.
That is the lowest switch number. What is the lowest switch ID?
Yes, the switch with the lowest bridge ID. That is the root bridge. In a way, I can also say it's the switch with the lowest MAC address. Do you agree to that? Do you agree to that? You don't agree? Okay, let's see. Let's see. Let me cut this topology here. Okay, let's do something. Let's assume this switch has a MAC address of 33. For simplicity, we know MAC addresses are in hexadecimal. Yes, so it's complex, a bit complex. So let me just make it simple. The MAC address on this switch is 22, and the MAC address on this switch is 44. Okay. So now the bridge ID for this switch will be priority, which is what? 3, 2, you remember? 7, 6, 8. 3, 2, 7, 6, 8 plus the VLAN. Currently, all the switches are in VLAN 1. All the ports are in VLAN 1, correct?
Yeah.
So, VLAN 1. The bridge ID for this switch is priority plus VLAN, which is 1, plus MAC address, which is what? 33. It's in hexadecimal, so we are not going to add it.
That is 22.
22, sorry. This is 22. Thank you for the correction. 22. When you come to this switch here, same thing, bridge ID is what? Priority, which is 32768 plus VLAN 1 plus what? 44 in hexadecimal. And the bridge ID for this switch here will be the same priority number, 32768 plus VLAN 1 plus what? 33. Now let's cancel out the priorities because they are the same. So this one will cancel this and will cancel this. Is that also?
Yeah.
What about the VLANs? Are they not the same?
Yeah.
So they also cancel each other. What is left?
The
MAC addresses. So spanning tree is going to leverage on the MAC address. You have the lowest MAC address, so you are going to be the root bridge.